they have like no abilities that go through magic immunity either.
Yep.
So
The lane should be going quite a bit better as well.
And
they need to
hypothermia-
manipulate like top lane, because Pango plus a Phoenix, like they could struggle a bit. Like you get swashbuckle misused, especially at the early levels when it's high cooldown. You're in trouble, especially against the Drow Ranger.
You get Frost Arrow.
I think this game is going to be a bit more, competitive than the last one was.
Well, that's what we thought last game. But
Fingers crossed. If nothing else, at least I'm happy to see some Drow Ranger, because keep hearing all about these ranged carries.
she's good.
They're not showing up, but they're showing up here. Let's see what happens in game number 2 with MLP and John X Fire.
Yes, thank you very much, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are officially into Game 2 between Execration and Boom Esports, and it is indeed MLP Dodo and John Expired. John, the drafts are completely different. You and I were having a bit of discussion, and, Execration's draft does look a lot better this time around. How are you feeling about it? Do you think Boom's going to have a bit more of a challenge like the panel was saying, or do you disagree? Where are you going with this?
I'd agree. It's a better draft for Execration, but I think Boom still has a lot of ways of playing this. FBZ on the Pango is another special of his, and we just saw the effect of his Timbersaw. Pango is kind of the same deal for FBZ. Just needs to hit certain timings, and they already catch out Palos.
Uh-oh. Well, Palos has been caught out on the Drow Ranger, and he's going to try and run for it, but with the Poison Touch slow, it's not looking great for him. One more hit will do it and hide. He doesn't want to take the kill. He'll let Makoto take it with the Poison Touch damage, and now RR is also going to die to FBZ. That is a perfect start if I've ever seen one, and props to Hyde for understanding how that did, because he literally just left the hero to run away and let the first blood go the way of his mid-dazzle.
It's just beautiful. Mikado off with 2 kills already. And you're going to be very pleased with just having all that added gold. Mikado is already ferrying out his null, and that makes the lane a lot harder to hold. You do still manage to run a here on the side of Execration. It's an even 2-for-2 trade. You're not going to be hurting too much, but Io is going to have a bit of a ride here on mid. He does get ferried out 8 sentry, try to regain control of his runes, and just watch the movements out from Boom, because you've got this issue once more. You've got a Lion and a Phoenix that can rotate. Now, it still doesn't sound as great as last time with the Mirana Clock, but it's still really potent, and there is so much more potential for Boom to be aggressive. Like, for the side of Execration, you've got a Snap who can rotate, and a Nyx. It's still great, but it takes a little bit more effort to line up 2 shots. And Yoe!
Makoto, he's going right in. He'll get the first, not first blood, but the first kill in the mid lane. Makoto just straight soloing the Ember at level 1. Yoe not going to have the greatest start apparently on this Ember, and that's not going to feel very good for him.
No, and we've seen Dazzle mid matchups against melee heroes a couple of times now, or at least once. And the Dazzle can really just bully you out. That was still level 1. Now you've got Wave Up, you can force back Yoe through that Flame Guard faster. And Yoe is really going to have to watch his spacing. Even his Sentry is not getting value here, as he's not able to de-ward, so it's just so hard to hold. Makoto now at level 3, he's going to have fantastic time down mid.
Certainly. You see Yoe, he tries to come back, but as soon as he gets close, Makoto is just going to give him the Poison Touch, just start harassing him out, and it's going to be a very hard time for Yoe. We'll see if they bring some help in to try and give him a bit of a helping hand. But in the other lanes, though, of course, top lane, you do see BDZ falling quite low on the Snapfire. He'll be there with Nico on the Mars, and of course, Dreamer Soul and Keskute are going to be against him in that top lane. Now, I don't know how to feel about this lifestealer, because personally to me, John, it feels like a bit of a weak hero. Am I wrong in saying this? Do you believe? Well, actually, hold that thought, because top lane, they are, rather bot lane, they are going onto the Drow Palos. Is going to die. FBZ and Hyde setting up another kill for themselves, and every lane so far just seems to be going the way of Boom Esports again.
Yeah, they're just bullying out the slower start for Execration. Their heroes on Execration's end need EXP. Like, the Drow just can't save herself stuck at level 1. You're going to need even level 3s where it starts to feel better. You don't necessarily want to invest in Gust very early on with the next partner, so there's so much more leeway here for Boom to throw their bodies forward and keep getting control up. Going back to the Lifestealer, I honestly think it's pretty nice. Like, again, you've got that change to Feast for doing health damage again. And it just punishes all these high HP heroes. We saw a game where Lifestealer Yeah, it was off to a really slow start, but there was still some fight in it. I think if you manage to get ahead and farm, it can actually be really potent, and it takes away so much from Execration. Like, their combinations, none of it really pierces spell multi, so as long as Dreamocel's quick enough in the fingers, he can really just control these fights.
Well, here we go again. Hyde trying to chase down RR. Did manage to take the boundary rune away from the Nyx Assassin. Be able to lock him down too long, but get some nice damage out. But back to that mid lane for a second, John. I mean, it's such a difference between the two, right? Like, you've got a 19-8 Makoto in terms of CS. Yoe sitting at 10-0 on the Ember. And in terms of levels, Makoto is going to out-level him by 1. It just hurts a lot, right? When you've got an Ember Spirit as well, who kind of relies on getting a quick Maelstrom up, this isn't going to feel very good.
No, it's really not. And at the least, the Dazzle has a point in the mid game where he kind of feels weak, maybe around the 15-minute mark to 20 until he gets that short. It's a pretty exposed time for the Dazzle, so that's something the Ember can look to play around once he gets some catch-up form. Execration, it's almost the same story as game 1. 0-4, 2k lead for Boom. No kills on the board yet for Execration, and with such an aggressive patch, you don't want to be sitting at 0 kills. You want to make something happen in these lanes. The supports just can't leave these side lanes. They're just kind of struggling finding that security on their side lanes as well. Palos needs RR around because his farm's not going amazingly well. 15-5. You're just getting a lot more out from Boom, and that does hurt the cause. Like, maybe once they get some levels up, maybe you get level 6 up on Nico or on Yoe, you can start to make some work on the map. Until then, you're just giving Boom so much lead. Look at Mikado again. Level 6, Yoe is still at 4.
Oh boy. He's trying, but Makoto's just going to annoy him underneath the T1 tower now. Poison touch out. Yoe
Oh, geez.
did not manage to avoid that with the Sleight of Fist. He might just be dead. There's TPs coming in from BDZ, but Makoto gets the kill. Is he going to stay alive, though? The Dazzle gets quickly stunned up, and BDZ does at least get a trade going. But Makoto's still going to be very happy with that. He understands with the Ember, just shutting him down like this is going to make Yoe's life very hard throughout this game, and it's obviously going to put a lot more pressure on someone like Nico on the Mars, who's going to really have to set the tempo for the team.
I mean, the moment you leave that Mars alone, you saw a bit of movement out from Boom to apply the aggression on the bot.
Well, they are trying to go in onto the Drow Ranger. For now, Palos going to be alright, but FBZ is going to chase him down. Swashbuckle in 1 second, but he won't have the chance to use it. Instead, he will just make use of it to get out of that scenario. But you can also see down this bot lane the fact that Palos has not been able to free farm whatsoever. Sitting at 19-8, it's not amazing at all. In fact, Dream Missile's almost doubling him up in terms of CS right now as they try to go in onto the Nyx Assassin. Earth Spike is going to land. RR still trying to run, but now Keskewed has shown up on the Phoenix. And that'll be another one. Hyde, he'll take it on the Lion. And John, that's another thing we talked about during the drafting phase, is the importance of Hyde being able to get a quick Blink Dagger. But just based off the way he's playing this game, it looks like it's not going to take too long.
I definitely won't. You're hitting all the spikes here for Boom. The aggression is shaping up well. They've basically left Dreamwhistle alone up top, and there's no punishment. Like, Nico has his Snapfire around, BDZ's around in the area to try and help out. You just can't really pressure a Lifestealer. Like, he can just rage up, run away, and your combination falls flat. So Boom, they're starting to do a bit of a shove-in bot. They've got the siege creep up. FBZ can't necessarily commit. It's not the same as the Timbersaw, but you're still getting some good chip damage done. And it forces Yoe to actually show up bot. He's got the haste to walk back mid if he wants to, but this is a bit of a risky spot for our Ember.
Yoe might be in trouble. He is just hit level 6 now, but he's going to get stunned up anyway. FBZ lands it. He'll remnant the other way, but they were waiting. Or maybe not. He does not get the Earth Spike off Yoe. He does take the kill and back off. In fact, never mind backing off. He's right in onto the Phoenix. Keskewed. He's going to try and run. He has already committed the Icarus dive, and that should mean Yoe can find himself a secondary kill here. And does. A nice double kill now for the Ember. Might help him catch up in this game.
Helps the cause out for Yoe. He just hit 6 right there. So really good use of that leveled spike for him. You are giving a lot of space out to Mikado down mid, but this is a lane Palos can hold a lot better. He's a ranged hero. He's not under pressure from the Shadow Wave. It's harder to land that Poison Touch on the Drow, so Mikado might not be able to bully out Palos as much. He still has a massive level advantage, though, so you will have to watch that. And Execration now with kills on the board. You're starting to get some space out. Nico has his level 6 as well. So you've got the arena ready. You've got the kisses ready on BDZ. Execration should look to play with these level spikes. Play with the arena and the kisses and start forcing
Lane,
kills out.
Makoto. They want the big one. They want the dazzle, and they might just get it. With the Mortimer's Kisses to fly in, they'll have plenty of damage, and FBZ, he does get the Nyx Assassin, but it is nowhere near worth it. And that's what you want to see from Execration. Punishing the fact that Makoto doesn't have anything to save him like the Shallow Grave. In fact, now FBZ, he's going to be in danger as the spear comes in from the side. And they get another. In Execration, they're right into the mid lane now.
And they can still push towers really well. And we've got BDZ. Doesn't have the little shredder, but Palos does have the marksmanship up. A lot of damage flying through to the tower. Just finding that space. And Boom can't allow this to fall, but it just melts too fast.
And it does, as Yoe, he wants to keep going further.
Radiant's top
Be able to
tower
keep up
is
with the
under
Phoenix,
attack.
Kensku will Icarus dive out, but with that mid-tier 1 gone now, Execration already having a much better time than last game. Open up the map a little bit. They might need to go back and farm a bit though. I mean, they are still quite behind in terms of gold, but apart from that, things are going decently.
They've managed to secure control in their triangle, so they've got some good stacks to clear out here for Palos. Still saving up for his Dragonlance, and that item did get slightly buffed, so should feel better on the Drow now. This is the moment where Boom might have to be a bit cautious. You know, Mikado went for the Midas on the Dazzles we tend to see. This is the moment where your Dazzle's not doing as much to bully out these heroes. You need to wait for those item timings, wait for at least your level 2 bad Juju feels a little bit better, but you know, you need some regen on hand. Maybe the Guardian Greaves comes in first. The key thing is that they've freed up so much space for Dreamosol. He takes down the bot tower, he's free farming, he's not being run down by enemy heroes, so the armlet timing for Dreamosol should be pretty damn nice, and could be tricky locking him in. Again, with the armlet and with Rage on top, it doesn't feel like they have enough physical damage outside of Palos to deal with that lifestealer yet.
Gonna try with the Sleight of Fist out. Dream Assault. It's just fine to back out. Of course, Dream Assault not too interested in fighting without that armlet up. I'd be more than happy to just farm that up in top lane. Boom Esports.
Radiant
They've grouped up, they're going to defend that tier 1 top tower, but Execration have made their way up as well, as Nico is going to go in with the arena and the spear right in onto Kensku. They'll get the Phoenix. Now Boom, they want to try and turn right back around onto BDZ, they'll get one. FBZ with the Rolling Thunder does connect onto Palos. Dreamosol is making his way in, but BDZ, he'll buy back immediately, and they want to try and turn now. Back on FBZ, the spear does land from Nico. Can they close the gap? They definitely can, but they will lose their Mars in the process. All things said and done, not too bad, but I think the buyback there from BDZ is going to make it a bit more worthwhile now for Boom Esports.
And they're going to be happy about forcing that out from Snap. Slows down the Snapfire's potential build-up into the Ags, as we've seen. Support Snapfire is still enjoying that item. Core Snap's basically non-existent for the most part, so you're slowing down the pace for these item timings on the supports from Execration. Boom. They get a kill here for Dreamosol. So again, he's fairly happy. He's got the armlet up now on the Lifestealer. I love the target prioritization there from FBZ. He just kind of ran down Palos. It's just that there was no follow-up. So they got the target prioritization right. They do have some levels up on Execration. With RR, with a Vendetta, they could look to make some plays.
Makoto again being caught out with the Mortimer's Kisses. He has the Shallow Grave this time, and he's going to try and TP out, and it looks like he's going to make it. It's Dreamosol now moves into this team fight. He wants to go after RR first. Finger is there from Hyde. There will be no TPing for this Nyx Assassin. The idea was correct, right? You just keep picking on Makoto, because he's a pretty vulnerable target, but at least with level 1 Shallow Grave, he can survive.
And that's not good news. They commit the kisses out there as well. They didn't have enough damage on hand just from Yoe and from RR, so they don't really get what they want there. They drop the Nyx, and they can try to pressure the side lanes. Palos has space up top to shove into tier 1. The bot tier 2 was being pressured by Boom just a bit, so they're not completely losing out here. And Boom, even after expending that finger, they are smoked up top.
That they are. But they aren't going to find anyone. Execration have successfully backed out at the right time. There is no harm in Execration just continuing this farm up. Still a long way to go in terms of net worth.
Flames will spread
As well as that, on the side of Boom Esports, like I think you are still looking for that Blink Dagger on Hyde, which it's going to be coming pretty soon, it looks like. This bot lane, RR, scouting out for his team. He's going to see FBZ and Dreamer Cell. A lot of smoke here from Execration. They're moving in now with the Earth, or rather, it felt a start, but the spear. Oh, he missed the spear. Oh, there's not much about that one, John. That's a pretty big mistake, as FBZ's now going to roll in. RR, he's been caught out of the Nyx Assassin. He's going to try and somehow survive this, but they have the control, and they will take him out. Oh, and that is a very unfortunate arena spear out from Nico. I guess he wasn't really expecting the impel, perhaps, but maybe just got a bit too excited.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for Execration. That was Nico's blink reveal as well in the Mars. And if they caught out Dreamwhistle, it would have been very worthwhile. But now, Dream should be able to adjust that blink timing. You should be aware that the blink arena is the go-to initiation, if not the Vendetta. And Execration is going to have to work even harder to catch some heroes out here. 7-12. 3K lead for Boom, so it is looking better for Execration this game. If you are getting some good space out on Palos, he does have his Dragon Lance up. The Drow is fairly safe from her attack range. She's got some good strength to pad out, and they do jump in, but Nico misses again.
Well, he's still got FBZ, thanks to Yoe. Does Remnant it, and they do get the kill. Definitely a great kill there for Execration. Still mid lane. It's not another team fight, but Hyde, already out with the finger, does kind of give it back to himself. Despite Carapace there, Hyde now just trying to run. Sunray is there from Kesku. Not doing too much, and Boom, I think they're in a bit of an awkward pickle position here now. As, well, they've got to find their way out, and it looks like they will. And they're trying to make these early team fights work. I think it might be a little bit awkward with the mid dazzle right now. So you don't really have that much going on with Mikoto at the moment, so it might be a little bit challenging to really get a good team fight going.
Yeah, it's that moment where the Dazzle's just kind of weak. Like, you do have a lower cooldown mech on hand. It doesn't really get crazy until you get the Guardian Greaves and the level 3 bad juju. Until then, you know, it's nice, but you need to wait. A bit more patience here from Boom. They can play as 4 in that case. I mean, you're ready to go here on Dreamwhistle. He's just walking forward every time. He's got the Sanj up. Just that little bit more stat resist and a little bit more amp on his lifesteal makes him very hard to pierce down. You have nothing to stop all that regen on hand with the lifesteal here. No natural ways of stopping that heal.
The Spiky is going to be a nice setup there from our Lion. We have the mech up now on Makoto, so bit of heal coming out as FBZ is going to jump in. Yoe has been hexed up by Hyde. They won't have enough lockdown there. Yoe will turn right back around now onto Boom. Dreamer Cell. Looks like he's going to be the one that gets targeted. It's going to be just fine. Boom. Well, they got what they came for. They'll get back to the farming game now.
Yep, just slowly build up. They still have the 3K lead up. I mean, Palos has a lot of space. Issue is Drow doesn't feel like it flash farms as fast. Like, he had a free lane top, and it's just not amounting to much. Dreamwhistle still ahead by a significant amount, 1.4k ahead on both Dreamwhistle and Mikoto.
No. Bot lane, they missed the spear again.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. FBZ, he's going to roll his way out. And I know we may have not have seen that on the screen for a second, but yeah, there is a lot of pressure, but it feels like these spears need to land. Otherwise, Boom, they're going to have their way in this game. The time is ticking. Mikoto is going to be a real problem later on this core dazzle.
Yeah, it's just ticking away. The Guardian Greaves just the recipe away, and that's 400 gold off for Mikoto. And once you hit that point, it's going to be really hard to kill off any of these heroes. Execration, none of them building up for, say, a casual Spirit Vessel here just to slow down the regen themselves. The Scotty might come out for Palos down the line on the Drow, feasible enough, but he has to go for the BKB first, maybe go for the SNY completion first for his own stat resistance, strength padding, and that just takes a lot of farm. Boom. Well, they're smoked up. They know they can be aggressive right now. They've got the blink and hide.
Oh, they found the big one. They found Palos on the Drow. They even commit the egg, just in case. You wouldn't expect Palos to be alone like that, I suppose. Boom, just making sure they cross all the boxes, and that they do. Onto the tier 1 top tower they go, and Dreamer Cell will just calmly take care of it by himself. No help necessary.
I love this item build up from Dream Assault. Immediate Heaven's Halberd up after the armlet. So now, even if that Drow somehow stays alive, you've got this arm to prevent any sorts of damage coming out. The BKB might help the cause here for Palos on the line, and they do surround Dream Assault.
Alright, well this time around they do get the initiation, and that's what you want to see. They get the big one. Dream Assault goes down. Yoa will take the kill, and worth a lot of XP and gold there to kill off that lifestealer. Dreamer Soul maybe just waiting around a bit too long. Does get punished.
Yeah, that's just a bit greedy from Dreamer Assault standing in front, farming that wave after, although they are surrounding here.
Here we go. Mid lane, Hex is out onto Yoa with the follow-up stun, and now the Rolling Boulder, or rather Rolling Thunder, but they don't have enough damage. Yoa, he's going to turn around and just get the slap to cancel you. They heal up with the Guardian Greaves. Palos is coming in now. A nice Earth Spike, but they've caught Makoto. The Dazzle does die. Execration, they could keep going for more.
Radiant's middle tower is
They
under
might even
attack.
find it. FBZ? No, he's going to be all right. Hyde. Spike not going to be on target. Yoe cancelling the TP at the last second, and now FBZ gets punished for coming back in. Hyde is going to try and run, but they're going to chase him down. And this is much, much better from Execration now.
Amateur.
It feels like they've finally warmed up here in this game too.
Yeah, they're getting the punishment off on Boom. Boom just kind of trickling in one by one. A lot of their damage really is on Dream Cell for the most part, and on Hyde's finger. If you have those spells down, it's not like the Dazzle has a lot of damage going in. Like, sure, you can spam out the Poison Touch. It's great. The Bad Juju builds up minus armor, but no one really hits hard. You could maybe argue FBZ can, but he's not quite itemized for that point yet. So Execration are, again, punishing this downtime on Boom's item spikes. And that's the key. They need to keep playing fast while they're strong, especially once Palos has this BKB up. They need to maximize that spell immunity on the Drow. Just stand forward. Puzzle while level 18's not yet up, because once Mikado has level 18, you're talking about 100% uptime, basically, on the Shallow Grave, and that is not something you want to fight into, especially if Mikado positions himself nicely. As long as he's far enough away from the silence, there's nothing to threaten the Dazzle and just keeping anyone alive throughout the entire fight.
Tell me, John, do you predict that we'll see a Spell Prism out for Makoto later on?
Sure, if the game goes long enough, maybe a Quickening Charm in the interim. And just to have that up, that would be very nice and very balanced for a Dazzle. We've seen that before. I think this
balance, by the way, John. Palos ended up getting a Grove Bow on the Drow, which is fairly standard. Every game we cast with a Drow in it, there's a Grove Bow every single time.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And well, in they go onto that bot tier 2 tower as Execration. They're going to start a Roshan instead. I like this decision from Execration.
Yeah, they can clear the Roche really fast. They've got good physical damage on hand. They already have the Solar Crest up here in RR for the debuff, but they immediately pull back. They saw the TPs coming in on the outpost. They don't want to tempt fate here.
FBZ, he does pop the Rolling Thunder a bit preemptively. And that might be the opening Execration needs. Without that big ulti now from FBZ, they might be able to take a pretty big team fight. Dream Assault is on the front lines. Looks like they aren't going to try and force it. On top of that now, they even have a BKB coming out on Palos. So it really feels like a great time to force a Roshan fight if you're Execration. They might just try now. BDC moving in, they see Dreamers. Oh, they've got to land some kind of stun. Right, they'll let him get out of there. The teams will leave the Roshan pit for now.
And just a bit of a poke war there. There is a smoke out here from Execration. It's only on the supports though. And it's a bit risky for them to jump in. But Yoa can follow up if they want to.
Well, there's an Infest now on Hyde. He could blink in at any moment.
Oh.
Roshan's being started again. Hyde looking for a target. Is going to go straight into the back lines. It looks like they found the snap by BDZ, but they've lost Hyde in the process. And BDZ is actually going to manage to run out of there as Makoto now or rather the Phoenix, was in trouble. Arena dropped by Nico to hold them down, but he needs some follow-up. Here comes Palos, though, with the Drow to just get the arrows in. Dreamer Soul dies, Makoto dies. It looks like FBZ has also been caught. He will try to swash away, but the X-Stun, excuse me, the Impale was there from RR. And now they can definitely get this free Roshan for themselves.
That's a massive win for Execration. Game swings their way now. 16-13, 2K lead up for Execration. Boom, their target prioritization is just not quite lining up well enough. The damage output of our Lifestealer is just not amazing. Like, yeah, you've got the Halberd, you've got the Armlet. When you're not hitting a strength hero, it just doesn't feel great, and Paolo's just making really good use of that BKB. It's just a massive spike for the Drow to take these fights. Now you've got the Aegis as well, really easy push onto the tier 2. Boom, respawns are short enough that they could contest this. They are kind of moving in for defense, so I'm not going to fall just yet. Boom needs some patience. They need more farm on Dreamosol. They need more levels up on Mikato, and I think Mikado's going to need something defensive. Like, the Guardian Greaves is nice, but he kind of pops it preemptively. He can't save it for silences on himself, and he really needs to purge that silence off. Once he's controlled up, your Dazzle just can't do anything. Like, maybe once you have the Force Staff, you can just spam that around, but for now, the utility of Dazzle's just waiting for that level 18 spike. No shards yet on Mikado as well. He does have a Force Staff flying in, but you really need that AoE Hex now if you want to get that initial control in these fights and start finding that key pick off in the backline. Palas cannot be allowed to just stand there and get his right clicks off.
I believe Makoto ended up going for a 4-star first, which is that defensive item you talked about, and looks like he's actually going for an Aether Lens up next on the Dazzle, so not even opting for the shards yet. Interestingly enough.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Execration, with an Aegis up, definitely want to go for a team fight. Gonna smoke up. Back into the mid lane, they'll see Dreamer Cell. This is very dangerous for the Lifestealer. And, the spear's off the mark. But the Rage was quite fast, so it may not have mattered. Dreamer Cell almost expecting that to happen. Does now back off towards the south of the map, pushing the bot tier 2 tower. Definitely looks like a bit of nerves kicking in here.
Radiant's bottom tower
These spears, again, they're going to be very important this game.
Yeah, I mean, you do manage to at least get some space out here for the side of Execration. They just keep shoving that top lane. Tier 2's already gone, so they've got control of the top jungle. They can look to clean up the mid tier 2 if they wanted to. They've got all the heroes on hand.
And they lock him down, they get the arena down, and they just burst down the Pangolier immediately. Makoto now, he TP'd him, but by himself, they're going to try and rush him. They won't. They get the tier 2 mid tower, and without FBZ up, they want to go high ground for a bit.
It's, when you lack your Pango, you lack your team fight. You need that rolling thunder to take control. They're gonna, rotate down.
Yeah, Hyde gets taken out. They're trying to slow down Palos on this Drow Ranger, but Nico, he's in. He gets a nice spear off into the tier 3. The Shallow Grave is going to save the day from Makoto. There's not really much saving that tier 3 tower, however, as Palos is just not giving up on it. Does end up finishing it off. And boom, I mean, they're still kind of just looking for an answer here with their draft. It never feels like Dreamersoul's able to really close the gap on the Lifestealer, and of course for Makoto, he's on a Dazzle, right? He's not going to be that gap closing hero you need. It seems like they are going to be relying more so on FBZ and Hyde, but it just hasn't been panning out quite yet.
The coordination's been falling a bit flat for Boom. Execration working much better together as a team. They've got a lot of BKBs on hand now as well. You've got the fresh BKB on Yoe. You've got the fresh BKB here. Well, not fresh. One charge down on Nico. So all of your cores can stand and fight in the middle. And that just takes away your line, takes away the impact of your Phoenix as well. And it makes it very hard for Boom to find that initial control. They are almost reaching the point where Dazzle hits level 18. So again, you're going to hit that massive spike in terms of spamming your spells out, spamming out the Guardian Greaves, spamming out the Shallow Grave. But we're still not seeing that build up into the Shard. Mikado is just ignoring it completely, opting for the Solar Crest instead.
Mid lane still going to be in danger. That rage is about to wear off, but he's trying to get himself up to the high ground. Gust is out. They found one. It's going to be Hyde going down onto Makoto. They'd love to get themselves a dazzle as Yoe continues moving forward with a DD and now Nico. A great arena spear round will catch the dazzle. FBZ, he tried to help on the Pango, but there's not much he can do. And Boom Esports, they are falling apart in this game number 2.
Execration just playing around that spell immunity really nicely. They know that they have to be aggressive now. Boom cannot be allowed to get any sort of catch-up form. The racks are exposed, they're going to be able to push in. There's no Aegis on Palos, so he's a bit more vulnerable, but it's not like Boom has a great way of reaching back. They just haven't been able to investigation of FBZ in this game at all.
Certainly not. Execration showing their teeth in this game too as the spear does come out again onto the Phoenix and Nico. Very happy with himself about that one. Dreamer Cell going to TP in, but they aren't going to try to initiate. They are still lacking 2 heroes. At least they do force back Execration now, and Execration, I'm sure they're more than happy to just keep the farm game going.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They've got a massive lead now. 9k at 29 minutes in, a lot to play with. They get the Desolator up and running on Nico, so the armor reduction is going to be ridiculous for their Drow. Palace is just going to hit that much harder here. Boom, they've got some shining moments. They've got the Quickening Charm on hand, but Mikado's not carrying it. So it looks like they're not prioritizing the ultra-low cooldowns on the Dazzle just yet. I think you've got to do it. Like, you've just got to play with max-level Juju with a Quickening Charm and just ensure that you can keep spamming those spells out, ensure that you can keep getting off Shallow Grave, getting off the Guardian Greaves off. Boom, they're playing in the right spot for the map. They've got their wards down bot. They're safe here. They've got information here. But Execration's doing the same thing. They're just playing top. They've got a lot of wards watching that top jungle. And it's just really hard for Boom to get any sort of pick off, get any sort of kill that can drag them back up because Execration just knows where to be.
Execration, they're going to try again. Boom Esports, they're heading down to that bot side of the map. FBZ, Rolling Thunder, they got the Hex off onto Nico with the egg committal. They will commit everything. But while they're doing that, the top lane is being forced in by Execration, and Boom will have to immediately respond to it. They want a team fight, and well, that is a really nice rage out from Dreamer Cell. He'll chase down the Drow Ranger now, but Palos is actually fairly tanky. He'll turn right back around. The stuns were there with the Impale, the Shallow Grave out to Makoto, but is it enough? Dreamer Cell is still just falling slowly but surely, and they will get rid of him. Now Makoto, he gets chained up. The Waterman's Kisses do fly in with the Gust down. That's it, GG's called. They want no more of this game number 2 as Execration really show up, and they will force to a game number 3.
Yeah, it looked good for Boom early on. It looked like they had the answers there. They were playing aggressive really nicely. They were getting some very good farm out in Dreamer Cell. Their team fights initially looked really smooth, but it just kind of falls flat. They take a couple of bad fights. Forcing the rush just looked really awkward, and